Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Selom Adunu. Tonight I'm here with
Akosia Oche.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes. Former Minister Peter Amewu's house in Hohoe raided by some unknown persons wielding guns and other appliances. For what exactly? We will tell you. Also coming up.
The project was initially valued by the PPA at $81.8 million US, but later increased to $121.1 million. This was revised again to $222.8 million.
Bank of Ghana Governor Johnson Esiama reveals real cost of the new Bank of Ghana headquarters building outrage. He says the bank still owes a contractor some $31 million. We will break down exactly what he told Parliament today for you later on in the show. Also, coming up on Eyewitness News, we'll touch base with the Heritage Caravanites as they spent a good part of the day at the Mole National Park and now heading towards Sunyani as part of Citi FM Channel 1 TV's Heritage Month. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
We'll tell you about inflation for February 2025 dropping marginally to 23.1%.
There is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citinewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on X at Selom Adunu. The hashtag, as always, is Citi Newsroom. We now hit the phone lines straight with our first story, where former Minister for Railways and also Lands and Natural Resources, Peter Amewu's house, we understand in Hohoe, was raided this afternoon by some unknown person. Peter Amewu himself joins us on the line to help us appreciate what the situation is. Indeed, he's also a former member of Parliament for the Hohoe constituency on the ticket of the MPP. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What exactly happened today in your house at Hohoe?
Well, good evening and good evening to your listeners.
Yes.
Today at 4:30, I've been called by a group of people in Hohoe, including the household. Currently, I'm in Accra. That the former NDC chairman, with some members of the NDC, together with their executives, with a white pickup with a registration number yet to be identified, came around to the gate, and one man came out with a gun in his hand, fired one gunshot. The bullet was what I sent to you. And when they were queried what they were going to do there, the reply was that they were sent from above. According to one of the household, he was heard one of them saying behind that the president asked them to come to the house. When asked which president, they couldn't respond to that. But when they were persuaded further, they said there were court bailiffs dispatched from Accra, and that they were there to serve me on notice that I was not properly elected as a member of Parliament in 2020. And that because MPP was in power, the then president used executive powers to authorize the Supreme Court to make my election very valid. And now that they are in government, they are here to serve me with that notice. And so it was asked whether the approach of serving was to use guns and come in that manner. So there was a lot of chaos, a chaotic scene today, 4:30, in the whole way. And the scene was so bad. The videos that I've been receiving, I'm afraid if this is the democratic Ghana that we left behind, and if this is how we want things to be done, I have not seen in any of the bailiff acts authorize a bailiff to come to your premises with gunshots and with a cloud of people with so-called national security. This is unheard of, and I told my people to exercise patience. And as I speak to you, there is still confusion going up there around my house in Hawaii.
I see. So let's take it slowly. So they said they were there on orders from above. They were there because you said the president sent them to come there. Said they were there because they are bailiffs from Accra. If they were bailiffs, did your household or persons in your house ask them to at least look at the process, the court process they were to serve on you, personally?
Yes, of course, they do demand for that. And they say, well, if you are a bailiff, produce an identity of a bailiff, which they've not been able to produce. But rather, the guy came out with a gun. You saw the bullets that fell on the ground that I sent you. But finally, they pasted a notice, I was told, at the back of the gate.
Well, what did the notice say?
Barely that I was duly not elected as a member of parliament for Ahowe in 2020, and that the CI that elected me was not constitutional, and therefore my election as a member of parliament for 2020 should be considered null and void.
The document you said they pasted on your gate, did it emanate from the court, at least on the face of it?
Yeah, when I read, yes, from the face, that was exactly some of the demand from the notice, yeah.
I see, but given that they came there armed, as you say, have you asked your people to report to the police and narrate the incident to the police? Perhaps they could be common criminals and not anything related to politics or law.
I agree perfectly that they could be common criminals because one of them that was identified as a member of NDC, everybody knows his background. And so I will not be surprised if they are coming in as criminals. And of course, a bailiff coming with a gun, and even to an extent of shooting a gun with one of the pellets that fell on the floor that I'll be producing. So, of course, my people have also gone to the police station to lodge a necessary complaint.
But what have the police said to them, apart from taking the statement?
I'm yet to get back the response from the police.
Will you request police protection, given the circumstances of the day?
When I was a minister, I never had a police. I never had a driver. I drive alone. I never had a single policeman. Among all the ministers in this country, no police ever guard my house. I walk in the night because I consider Ghana as a free state. Now that I am not a minister and I should go for a police, I'm not going to go for any police. I'll continue to defend myself. And what am I afraid of? I have never used a single police, when I was a minister, a member of parliament. I never used a police. Why do I need a police protection for? I'm not going to do that. If anybody there, we'll see where the power lies.
I see. Of course, Ghana is a free country, but if you are entitled to it, you are entitled to it. That's why some of your colleagues had police escort,
well, I don't think I am entitled. I am not holding any government.
Yeah, so we're saying that given the circumstances, now you say there are persons who came to your house shooting, etc. That surely is a concern. And you're saying despite all of that, and you are not even in the house in Hoho, your people are there. Despite all of this, you don't think your people deserve some protection, and so you call on the police to look at your case personally?
I don't think we deserve a police protection. I don't think. If anybody there, whether they are sent from above or what, they should come back again. They should come back. And if you don't go freely, we will all see it in this country. If this is the country they want us to run, we will run it equally. I don't like this type of unauthorized behavior. I mean, a democratic country, who sent you? We've been sent from above. Who is that person? A president. Which president? You can't mention it. And you went firing a gunshot in Ghana, a country called democratic country?
Yeah, so exactly my point.
How this country has been run?
Exactly my point.
We better allow the military to take over.
Exactly my point. So this could be common criminals, because if it says they were sent from above,
if there could be
a president sent
we will
them,
go to understand, because I am identifying an NDC chairman in them. So they could not be criminal. There is an NDC group of members, that about 6 or 7 NDC people involved. So all this cannot be criminal. There may be 2 or 3 criminals among the NDCs, which we know. But all these others may not be criminals. Who is that power from above that sent them?
I see.
Are we under a military dictatorship? Is that how we want Ghana to be run again? I
see. So what's the feeling at home now? Your people in the house, what's the feeling there?
They are all upset. They can't believe it. They can't believe this is the free Ghana that we want. Everybody is shocked. Nobody could believe it. Nobody could believe it. We came and served this country with all dignity, with all respect, in every manner that we did. Is that how to treat ex-ministers? Who is that power from above sending them to come and fire gunshots in my house?
I see.
Who is that power from above that cannot mention his name?
So once there's a court process pasted on your gate, you say, let's see how things pan out. We wish you the very best, and we hope that we will hear of further developments and do our bit. Thanks so much, the Honourable John Peter Amewu, former Member of Parliament for Hohoe and a former Minister for Railways and also former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources.
Let's go to the floor of Parliament, where the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, has disclosed that as of February 2025, approximately $230 million had been paid towards the construction of the Bank of Ghana headquarters, with an outstanding balance of $31.8 million still due to the contractor. On speaking on the floor of Parliament, Dr. Esiama further revealed that a total of $48.3 million had been paid in taxes and levies related to the construction. Here are excerpts of his appearance on the floor of Parliament.
In 2019, under a new board of the Bank of Ghana, a structural integrity audit was conducted, and this showed that the existing head office, which was built in the late 1950s, had developed significant structural defects and was no longer fit for purpose. Mr. Speaker, we have provided a copy of this document also on the structural integrity audit that was conducted in 2019. Following this, Mr. Speaker, the Board of Directors at that time approved the development of a new corporate headquarters, citing security, operational efficiency, and long-term institutional needs as key factors. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, the land was acquired at West Ridge. I'm informed that a competitive procurement process that was approved by the Public Procurement Authority led to the selection of Mr. Goldkey Properties Limited as the contractor under a turnkey arrangement. Mr. Speaker, the project was initially valued by the PPA at $81.8 million US, but later increased to $121.1 million after the Bank of Ghana requested for re-evaluation. This was revised again to $222.8 million after the redesign and inclusion of building management systems. Mr. Speaker, there were also statutory requirements, security needs, and sustainability considerations. As a result, the total project cost increased to $261.8 million. Mr. Speaker, as of February this year, a total of $230 million approximately has been paid towards the project, with an outstanding balance of $31.8 million to be paid to the contractor. Mr. Speaker, a total of $48.3 million has been paid in taxes and levies that were related to the construction. Mr. Speaker, beyond the core building, separate contracts were awarded for other infrastructure. These include ICT systems and network infrastructure, which was awarded at a cost of $8.6 million, integrated electronic security systems, which was also awarded at a cost of $15.8 million, and furniture and furnishings that was also awarded at $11.1 million US. Mr. Speaker, these elements were included to ensure that the bank operates in a secure and technologically advanced environment in line with the needs of a modern central bank. Mr. Speaker, While the new headquarters project has understandably drawn public attention, Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that the Bank of Ghana remains fully focused on its primary responsibilities, which is to maintain price stability, which is to ensure financial sector resilience, and which is to foster economic growth. These are the priorities that guide our actions.
Well, he also announced plans to engage the Architectural and Engineering Services Limited to conduct a value for money audit on its $261 million new headquarters project after the swearing in of the reconstituted board of the Bank of Ghana.
Mr. Speaker, the reconstituted Bank of Ghana board will be sworn in next week, and the board will begin reviewing some of these legacy issues. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, we have scheduled for board agenda a detailed briefing on the new Bank of Ghana building by the project team members, and we intend to seek authorization from the board to engage AESL for a value for money audit into the new building. We believe this will bring clarity to the matter, and we believe this will bring closure to the issue of our new Bank of Ghana building.
That was Dr. Johnson Isiama, Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Well, he was speaking in Parliament today, and both sides of the House asked questions, and he did provide some answers. Let's speak to the Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Habib Idrisu, Honorable, a member for Tolon, for some more details on what the Bank of Ghana governor was in the House to do. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. So the governor was in the House, at your instance, at least the instance of the majority leader who has been following this matter, even in his opposition days. What's your general impression about the details given by the governor?
Yes, in fact, the mood of the House and then the general feelings after the governor gave us a report in terms of the corporate head office of the Bank of Ghana was satisfactory. On the part of the minority, he has come to exonerate us based on the perception out there, as if previous government had blown up money into the structure. Today, engagement have been able to reveal and be able to bring finality into the issue, whether due process was followed, whether there was a value for money, whether the cost of the building was okay, and the rest. So the document that he presented to us, it was okay, and we were satisfied. At a point, we wanted to even ask more questions and then probe more. But the speaker, the chairman who was presiding, said that he has to limit us because of other engagement that we had. So in effect, it was okay, and we are happy on our side because he has come to actually confirm that everything that went on in the corporate head office of the Bank of Ghana went through due process. It has also been able to confirm that the cost could be higher, but government has been able to work to make sure that the cost become low.
I see. If you say you are satisfied as for such a huge project, there was no real value for money analysis, and it's now that AESL will be tasked to do that. Is that good enough? Is that what satisfies you?
But if you see what the governor was explaining to us and the sense that we get, even though they will do the value for money audit, we asked that question. We asked the question to see what actually would be done on it. But he gave us an indication and then brought us a data that indicated that, or that shown that the amount that was used in terms of the construction of the building could have been higher. And if you permit me, he he gave us a document, and paragraph 18 of the document. In fact, the document is titled, maybe you could get your correspondent in Parliament to get, it's a report to the 9th Parliament on the new corporate headquarters of the Bank of Ghana. On paragraph 18, the governor said that the ETC of the bank at its meeting held in December 2022 considered and approved the design review and the revised project cost of $2,068 per square meter. This figure is lower than the market value, with data from the Africa Property and Construction Court Guide 2021-2022 stating 2,658 per square meter, and in 2022-2023 at 2,720 per square meter. An average construction cost for prestige high-rise office space in Africa. So what the governor was telling us here, the sense is that we got per square meter at 2,068. But in the African market, that is relating to the data available, it was going for $2,658 per square meter. So in effect, with the number, the amount of in total out of the square meters that they did, government was able to save the taxpayers, or were able to make savings of about $70 million. So what I'm trying to say is that it is from the document that he presented to Parliament, which is now public because he has presented it to us, and we were able to see that what actually they use the amount to do could have been higher. And he also elaborated exactly what the money is used for, not just a building, but it is a 20-story tower block with urban block, that is 8-story urban block. Amenities block has a 6-story amenities block. Then it has a 5-level basement car parking, an auxiliary facility, an energy farm, a treatment plant, and a security gate houses. So this is what actually constitutes the entire price. So it could have been higher.
I see. Yes, it could have been higher, but perhaps some more cost savings could have been done. So, and this figure we're talking about excludes the cost of land. And we know cost of land in the area we are talking about could be huge given the size of the land and the prime nature of that land. So this figure we are talking about excludes that. Perhaps if you had added that, the figure could have we've gone beyond the African average or the African standard. But the fact that we got it cheaper doesn't mean that perhaps if we did better, we couldn't have had it lower. I think that's the point generally. So until the value for money analysis report is done, I'm not sure we can be so happy and say we are satisfied that the money was used properly.
But it is also on record to say that you cannot conclude by saying that $261 million as has been presented, it is not a best deal. In effect, it was good, but he also, part of the audio that you have played at your station, to the effect that out of that money, $48 million were paid to tax. So out of the 261, 48 million have been paid back to the government as taxes. That is what it means. So when you take $48 million from the 261, obviously it's not going to be 261. But they have admitted, what I have read to you, that this is the lowest that you can get in Africa, because they said it is lower than the market value. So if the market value per square meter in building such a structure anywhere else, it is in Togo, Nigeria, is going for like 2,720, and we are getting it for 2,068. It is a value for money. It means that the cost is down, and then we are getting about $48 million on taxes. So left to us alone, we are satisfied, and it has facilities. That's the first in terms of security facilities. In fact, if you look at the reason for this building, the governor was confronted, and he agreed that they started this thing in 2011. And you and I know who was in government in 2011. It was not the MPP
No,
government.
I think what they said. I think what they said was that they decided to build a new headquarters building as far back as 2011, and then they decided to go look for places. And it was later that they made progress in that respect. But they didn't say they started the construction in 2011.
Yes, but the bank definitely, you know how things are being done. And then, yes, he said that in 2011, the board of directors of the bank, they were looking for a suitable land for the headquarters because they have been able to let people do analysis of the structural integrity audit of the facility they are currently occupying, which was built by the Nkrumah government in the 1950s. They come to the conclusion that it's not more fit for purpose. So there was a need for it. So the decision to get a new headquarters was done in 2011 by the board of directors, and they already started looking for the land then.
I see. There were other concerns. For example, initially built to be 73,000 square meters facility, now redesigned and augmented to 107,000 square meter facility. But when you look at the difference in square meters and the difference in cost, that looks a bit lopsided because the cost component appears way higher than what could have been commensurate with the increase in the square meters. Of course, Mahama Yaraga made that point forcefully. What do you say about that?
Yeah, but if you look at it, he has made it clear to us that at any point, based on the document that he has presented to Parliament, like indicated, the square meter, you multiply by the number of square meters that is added. And also, when there was an increment in everything, it was sent back to the PPE for further adjustment. Because, in fact, he said initially that the PPA, by a letter dated 29th January 2020, conveyed the board approval of the Bank of Ghana. This approval to use the short-listed contract to restrictive tender also revised the estimate cost of the project from $100 million to $81 million. And then they came further to tell us that after the issue that you just raised, they tried to, add up certain things. It went back to PPA for further approval, of which they got an approval by the 31st of August 2020 to some amount of $121 million. So at every point, due process was followed. They did the right thing. They got the right approval. They came back to the bank CTRC to get another approval so that everything could go on smoothly.
Another concern, really, of course, you said they did this through restrictive tender, which is fine, which means a limited number of people were contacted or put in a bid for it. Initially, we understand that the Bank of Ghana went to the PPA with about $100 million cost in terms of how much the facility should cost. The PPA reviewed that to $81 million, and so the contractor won the bid based on that, only to come back later and review the thing to $120 million and then to $261 million. People think that could be a way of going around the procurement question, so that you bid low, you get it now to the exclusion of everybody. After you get it, you can now execute what the real thing you want to do, which is in excess of $200 million. What do you say to that?
But if you look at it, even if we are going to do normal building, before you start construction, even your house, you have to get a designer, an architect who will do it, which is not part of the building itself. That's number one. Then the other part is that when you are building your house and you tell the builder that, okay, I'm building a 3-bedroom house, and he tells you this and he bids for it and says, oh no, I don't think I need 3-bedroom house. I need 4-bedroom with boys' quarters. You don't expect the cost to be the same.
I see, but the disparity is huge, 81 million to 261 million. That certainly should raise eyebrows, shouldn't it?
Left to me alone with what the governor presented, was satisfied. We were satisfied with it, with what he presented. It was a clear picture. He atomized everything. Even our colleagues in the majority who were thinking that there was something fishy there, they could not even ask questions. They thought he was coming to say a lot of things. But if you look exactly what was going to be done, you cannot say that, it was very high.
Very well. Thanks so much, the Honorable Habib Idrisu, Member of Parliament for Tolon, Deputy Minority Chief Whip. Thanks so much for speaking to us this evening. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Some of your messages that have been coming through. This one from Mausi Ayebi Aista in Abutia Teti. He says, Ghanaians should wholeheartedly support Dr. Johnson Isiame's stance on the Bank of Ghana headquarters. The staggering increase from the initial $81 million to $261 million is indeed outrageous. Such a significant escalation raises questions about transparency and accountability in our financial governance, and it is essential that we prioritize the prudent use of public resources. Stephen Duoyo in Nkwanta says, good evening to you, Salom. Please ask the former minister whether he used the same lamentation when the MPP hoodlums were terrorizing NDC members in this same country during the era of the previous administration. That's in reference to the Honorable Peter Amewu's story we brought to you earlier. BB in North K says, seriously, Mr. Amewu's story doesn't add up. In one breath, he says it's a former NDC chairman. In another breath, it's a bailiff and later a national security operative. I suspect he's staging these things in anticipation of being arrested for the SkyTrain scandal. Well, I say Ghanaians are wide awake. Babamu in Tamale says this NDC hooligans and the so-called national security tax should stop this witch hunting of former appointees of the Eswal government. John Peter Amewu is a humble personality, you say. Daniel Akpaliok in Sandema says the continuous raiding of people's residence in a democratic country like Ghana is unacceptable and must be condemned in no uncertain terms. I urge appropriate authorities to do the needful by identifying the persons behind these acts and ensure that they are brought to book. I know President Mahama is a law-abiding and a forward-looking person who will not sanction these acts of lawlessness. Let's stay on this story a bit more. The story of the Bank of Ghana new headquarters building. Let's speak to Richard Echampo, Honorable Second Deputy Majority Whip, for his take on the matter as well. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. The Majority Leader called the governor of the Bank of Ghana to Parliament to answer questions on the cost of the building. He provided some answers. Generally, are you satisfied with the answers he provided to you in terms of the cost, its escalation, etc.? Hello, Honorable Champo.
Hello.
Yes, welcome to the program. Did you hear my question?
No, your voice was so low, so I couldn't get the import of the question.
All right, so I'm asking that, yes, you called the governor to come to Parliament today. He came, provided some answers to the questions you asked in terms of the cost, etc. Was your side satisfied with the answers he provided?
Let me thank you very much for the opportunity. Yes, indeed. We invited the governor to appear before the House to inform us the total cost of the bank headquarters facility that they put out. But by the end of the day, our side, we were not satisfied with the answers provided in terms of the numbers that they gave us. So I can see that this is the beginning of our investigation and oversight responsibility over Bank of Ghana. I say so because the document they gave us, they are telling us that a square meter of space is costing us 2,436 Ghana cedis. And they went further to tell us that this is even lower than the market value. So they are trying to justify that at least they went in for the best quotation. And the question was asked, how much did you pay for the land? And they are saying the land was given to them free of charge. My brother, even if the land was given to you free of charge, you need to have value for the land. So that if you factor in the cost of the land, that will give you fair idea about how much you are spending or you are paying on that facility. You can exclude the cost of the land and come to the conclusion that this is the lowest as compared to the West Africa's, the sub-region or the market value. They could not answer this question. And the other party, you went to PTA. You told PTA that you wanted to put up this facility at the cost of $100 million. PTA wrote to you and they said no. The design and everything that you provided in your document, you can do this with $81.8 million. No need spending $121 million. You went ahead and increased the cost of it to $222 million, saying that by the end of the day, you expanded the project and you again brought in some security features that necessitated the increment of the price. So the question is, who will contemplate to put up a Bank of Ghana headquarters without thinking about security installations? From the word go, the first thing that comes to mind is security. Because we have existing facilities, we are moving from that facility because of security issues. So there's no way you come up with a design without taking care of security matters. And again, the cost increased from 222 to 271.773 million. How can you start a project of 81 million and you end up paying $261 million? So all these numbers doesn't add up. And if you look at the appendices, they are telling us that even cost of furniture and furnishing alone is costing them $11 million. $11 million. Consultancy service alone is $3.450 million. Consultancy. And ICT system is costing it $8.6 million. These numbers doesn't add up. So we asked them if they have value for money audit report. They said no. The whole Bank of Ghana, you put up this edifice and it's almost 95% complete. You don't have value for money audit report. So the question is, based on what report that influence the variations? Because the value for money audit will tease out all these issues. That will let you either to expand or add back the surplus or whatever savings you made so far, or if there should be additions. That report will influence that decision. But you don't have that report. But if you increase the price from 81 to 222 and then to 261 million, my brother, if it is your personal investment, would you invest it this way? So we are saying this is just the beginning. We wanted to get these numbers. Now that we have the numbers, we can peruse it and put up a committee to investigate the matter further.
To investigate what further? What's the suspicion? Because indeed, the initial design and scope, for the project was to do a 25-story tower block, a 4-story car parking facility, 2-level basements, and an auditorium. After the variation, we have a tower block of 20-story tower block. We have an urban block, which is 8-story urban block, amenities block, which is about 6-story, basements, 5-level basement car parking areas, ancillary facilities, energy farm, treatment plants, security gate houses. This is quite significantly different from the original. Won't you say so?
So, if you check, when the square meter was increased, it is about 45% increase. So if you increase the square meter by 45%, on what basis did the cost of it increase by 86%? If you look at the cost variation, you've increased the square meter by 46%, but the cost element has increased by 86%. Does it add up?
But things like the treatment plants, security gate houses, and other ancillary facilities would not be measured in square meters, would they?
So, Chief, before they sat in the boardroom, took a decision to put up this edifice, invited all the experts to do everything for them to come out with the drawings, the design, and everything. Are you saying it was an afterthought to do a different variation for more than 200%? Just remember, it started from 81 million. And it's now 261. Who does that?
I see.
At least the variation should be, let's say, 20 or 25%. But in this case, more than 200%.
Very well. Thank you so much. We'll be following this space keenly. Thank you so much, the Honorable Richard, the Champion, Second Deputy Majority
You're welcome,
Chief Whip, speaking to us on this matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Indeed, there are other components or other contracts awarded as part of the grand one we have seen. And just to take you through some of these other ones, there are contracts for furniture and fittings, which is $11.1 million. Integrated electronic system, separate contract at $15.8 million. ICT network at $8.6 million. And then, of course, other details include the fact that levies and taxes paid on the project amounted to $48.3 million. And of course, as you may know, the initial cost of the project was put at 81 million, but the before tax figure is grown quite exponentially, or quite significantly. And so that is the subject of query and interest for the majority side of the House. So they have asked the governor to go do some work and provide some more details in due course. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Google me. At what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish Magobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand the Magobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
The go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. The Minister of Roads and Highways Governs, Kwame Agbodza, has directed contractors working on the Ofanko to Nsawam Junction rehabilitation projects to ensure that the stretch remains motorable for commuters. He stressed that the contractors must continuously grade and water the road to provide relief for motorists. Addressing the media after inspecting the stretch, Kwame Agbodza assured the government would ensure the necessary funding is provided for the timely completion of the road.
They've run out of money. We are not expecting them to be working at the same pace as if nothing is wrong. But the fact that they were almost non-existent on the site, and today we can see some of the things the public were complaining about have been done. One of them is their inability to water the road to reduce the dust. Today we can see a lot of watering going on. We can see a lot more scarifying and reshaping and rolling going on, which means that at least the surface temporarily will be better than it is. That is what we are asking them to continue to do until a significant amount of payment is made to them. We are not saying that without money they can continue to work at the same pace. But as long as we are still yet to get to a point where we've gone beyond the 90 days period. I think they should continue to do their best to make sure that the public is comfortable with, at least the public is aware this is a construction site. So nobody is expected to drive at 60, 70 kilometers through this place. But it should be reasonably motorable. So we take note of those things. The president is committed to continuing and completing every ongoing project.
That was Minister of Roads and Highways Governs Kwame Aguja. Meanwhile, the project manager for the road, Engineer Abdullah Mahama, explained that issues with compensation, the relocation of utilities and other challenges have contributed to the delay in the road's completion.
There are a few other challenges that we didn't enroll to the minister. At Amasaman, for instance, where we have the 3-tier interchange, there's a lot of issue with compensation. And those compensation has two issues. The consultant actually valued the assessed properties, which is being disputed by a section of the affected claimants, which is being contested with the land valuation, so that they were going to do the certification. And then we have the issue with the court cases. There are over 80 court cases that are still being addressed by the contractor as well as the consultant and the Ghana Highway Authority. Some of them have been cleared, but others are still out there, especially from the Amasaman area towards Nsawam.
You heard that from Engineer Abdullah Mahama, project manager for the Ofanko to Nsawam Junction Rehabilitation Project. Now let's bring you some exciting news. Patrons of the 2025 Caravan earlier embarked on a safari at the Mole National Park in the Savannah region, spotting various wild animals in the National Reserve. While the visit to Mole Park is part of the itinerary for Day 4, which will conclude with a trip to Sinyane in the Bono regional capital. Some patrons shared their experiences after the safari.
It was amazing. I've not seen elephant before. We saw a very big one and the other three. According to the tour guide, he said they live up to 65 years. But those three that we saw, he said they were around 20, 21 years. But the big one that we saw alone, he didn't tell it the age, but they were nice.
It was nice. We saw the elephants, highlights, and a few antelope, and some birds.
Wild antelope.
Yeah.
And wild guinea fowls.
Wild guinea fowls as well. Yes. It was fun.
Great. Was the experience worth it? Oh yes, this is my first time, and the Heritage Caravan has given me the opportunity to tick something off my bucket list. Yes, so it was worth it.
All right. I heard so much about Mole National Park. Today I went on a ride. It's a very exciting one, to be precise. I saw, in fact, the climax of it was the elephant, the big fat elephant.
So those were some patrons of the 2025 Heritage Caravan speaking there to my colleague Nanatufo Boateng. Well, you can catch details, get a glimpse of the pictures and the videos on our social media handles with the hashtag 2025 Heritage Caravan.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now.
Go. Gugomi, at what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Akosia Oche. Let's settle for the details. Now, Ghana's inflation rate eased to 23.1% in February 2025, down from 23.5% in January. Well, this marks the second consecutive decline this year. The drop was largely driven by a reduction in food inflation, which fell to 28.1% in February from 28.3% in January. Non-food inflation also declined, reaching 18.8%, down from 19.2% in the previous month. From a regional perspective, the Upper West region recorded the highest inflation rate at 35.5%, while the Volta region posted the lowest rate at 18.1%. Here's the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobina, with highlights of data for the month of February.
Highlights for February 2025 rate of inflation. In the month of February 2025, rate of inflation stood at 23.1%, indicating that general price levels of goods and services between February 2024 and February 2025 went up by 23.1%. This rate of inflation is lower than the rate of inflation that was recorded for the month of January 2025, as it dipped by 0.4 percentage points from 23.5% for January 2025 to 23.1% for February 2025. Disaggregating rate of inflation from a food and non-food perspective, we recorded a 9.3 percentage point difference between food inflation and non-food inflation, with food inflation 28.1% and non-food inflation 18.8%. Both food and non-food inflation have slowed down between January 2025 and February 2025, both slowing down by 0.4% in the month of February 2025. From a regional perspective, Upper West region recorded the highest rate of inflation of 35.5%, and the Volta region recorded the lowest rate of inflation of 18.1%.
That was voice of Samuel Kobina, Professor Samuel Kobina Inim. He's the government statistician. Now, away from that, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has announced that the central bank will engage the private sector and market traders at least twice a year to provide insights into the monetary policy rate and other key monetary policy strategies. All this follows demands from private sector-led groups. They just ended the National Economic Dialogue, where they called for greater transparency and collaboration in shaping monetary policies that impact businesses and the broader economy. Or responding to these concerns, Dr. Isiama emphasized that the Bank of Ghana remains committed to openness.
The first one is that they want to meet with us twice every year, and that underscores our vision. That look, we have to be transparent. It is about restoring the public trust. It is about getting Ghanaians to understand what we do as a central bank. And so I was telling the Guta president, for example, I told him we are coming to Makola, and we will get them to understand why, for example, we need to jack up the rates, or why we need to lower the rates. And so what we are going to be doing now is individual members' submissions will be published, and that is going to happen from this month.
That was the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, telecommunications giant MTN has taken a step by securing an insurance scheme for mobile money agents, offering protection against unforeseen circumstances. Well, this initiative comes in response to the recent deaths of mobile money agents in various parts of the country while conducting their businesses. Daniel Odromensa has more in this report.
The beginning of this year has seen more than 10 attacks and fatalities among mobile money agents while conducting their usual operations. Some agents have had large sums of money taken at gunpoint, while others have tragically lost their lives. This situation has sparked concern among various stakeholders about the safety of mobile money agents and the agents' need to enhance their protection. In response, MTN Ghana has launched a strategic partnership with Salam Alliance and Ayo Intermediaries Ghana Limited to provide insurance packages for mobile money agents. Samuel Addo, the Chief Sales and Distribution Officer at MTN Ghana, emphasized this initiative.
This collaboration provides greater coverage for our agents, offering a reliable safety net for them and their families. This insurance scheme covers, amongst others, permanent and total disability benefits. Temporal and total disability covers critical illness, accidental medical reimbursement benefits, hospitalization benefits, and death benefits.
The Chief Executive Officer of Ayo Intermediaries Ghana Limited, Francis Gota, highlighted that the initiative aims to ensure the safety and well-being of mobile money agents nationwide.
The Mobile Money Limited recognizes your value and is investing in your protection. This initiative is a way of saying we value you, we want you to be protected, and we want you to have a peace of mind to go about your daily activities.
The Chief Executive Officer of Salam Alliance Life Insurance Ghana Limited, Ben Ahmed Tewia, encouraged mobile money agents to take their insurance policies seriously to ensure their financial protection.
You should consider becoming ambassadors of financial security and encourage your colleagues and customers to take up insurance, knowing that there is an insurance company in Ghana called Salam Alliance that you can trust to pay claims.
Voice of Chief Executive Officer of Sanlam Alliance Life Insurance Ghana Limited, Ben Ahmed Taria. And in that report filed by my colleague Daniel Udro Mensah. Now, the president of the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association, Eboboche, has opined that the government needs to incentivize manufacturers in order to encourage effective recycling of plastics. While the government is supporting steps to address the growing environmental crisis caused by single-use plastics by moving to phase down single-use plastics in Ghana to 50% by 2030. On speaking to Citi Business News, President of the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association, Eboboche, called for engagements between stakeholders and the government to proffer solutions.
When we get the incentives in terms of subsidies, in terms of power, rebate, elsewhere in Europe and the world at large, the best way to manage plastic waste is effective recycling. We've advised government severally. We've advised them that let's have a ban on the micron. The whole idea here is that if you place a ban on the micron, you improve, you encourage recycling. You also encourage reduction in its use. I think government have to really sit with us and then understand the technicalities involved.
Eboboche is the president of the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association. Well, that's how we wrap up the Wednesday edition of the Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I'm Makosi Aochedu. Stay with us. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Tonight on Point Blank, we have two issues. The first one, of course, is on Heritage Caravan. We'll be touching base with the Caravanites to have a sense of the feeling on the bus and on the trip. Earlier in the day, they were around the Mole area and visited the Mole National Park, after which they undertook other events. Umaru Sanda Amadu, who is on the Caravan, joins us live on the show. Hello, Umaru Sanda. Good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News Point Blank, indeed.
Good evening, Editor, Council. Salam. How are you doing?
Very well. Ordinarily, you should be where I am now. You should be sitting here, but there you are, chilling and on the Caravan.
Yes, I don't know, Salam. Have you been on the Caravan before? It's really, really an exciting experience that I really would wish for anybody. For a number of reasons, Salam. It opens up the country to you. It shows you things that you may have just heard about in the news, or may have seen your correspondence files. And when you come here, the feel is different. Now, as I speak with you, Salam, we always talk about dualizing our international roads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our national roads.
Mm-hmm.
As I speak with you, we have been driving from Damongo, which is the capital of the Savannah region, headed for Sunyani, which is the capital of the Bono region. Now, on our way, when we got to an area called Tiobodom, a town that I think every Ghanaian of a certain age would have known about, we encountered heavy rainfall. Now, this rain broke down trees because it was a windstorm as well, alongside the rainstorm. And those trees fell on the road. And fell on because it's a single road. If a tree falls by this time, there wouldn't be fire service before anybody to come and fix that. It means vehicles are left with just a single lane to use. Imagine if we had double lanes. I was over hearing the conversation between the STC bus drivers who are moving us, and they were talking about if this road was dualized, then it shouldn't be a problem. And it's just one of many, many things you notice when you travel. But of course, you would also notice a lot of very nice and beautiful things. And so after the Heritage Caravan, it's a potpourri of issues. And Salam, I am happy that you are the one sitting there and I'm the one chilling here.
I see. We understand you are at the Mole National Park earlier in the day. Talk to us about that.
So today is day 4 of the caravan. This morning we woke up at Modern City Hotel in Tamale, having arrived from Bolgatanga last night. I think Nana Tufo spoke to you on Point Blank last night. So this morning we headed out of Tamale to the Savannah region, and we landed in the Mole National Park. We tried to get there early because usually the early bird catches the worm, and the early tourists catch the best of the animals that emerge from the park. And so we got there very early indeed, even though we may have been delayed because of one or two things that we may not have factored in our trip. We got there, and then 180 people, you have to move all of them into the park. And they have these trucks that carry people into the park on the safari. So we have to then split ourselves into groups of 8 per truck, and these trucks then carry people inside the park for a safari, where delegates or patrons of the caravan got the opportunity to see these animals in their natural habitat, interact with them by observing them from afar. The elephants, of course, was the biggest elephant in the room. The pan is intended for this.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw huge elephants that were decades old, 3 decades old at least. One of them, according to what the tour guide has said to us.
Wow.
We've seen different breeds of antelope and also deer eating the grass in the park. But the most popular animal in the Mole National Park, Salam, is the monkeys. I'm not sure whether they are baboons or monkeys, but of course the breed of that primate. And they were on show this afternoon because, the caravanners had eaten, because we had to leave early, we left Tamale at 5 a.m. thereabout. We had to move with our packed breakfast. The hotel packed breakfast for us. So we eat breakfast on board. Now, when we got here, we decided, and oh my God, while I'm talking, I'm just encountering another huge tree that has been uprooted, which by the rainstorm, which is on the road, and the huge STC bus had to maneuver off the road to rejoin the road.
Wow.
But let me go back to the issue of Mole Park. So the monkeys that are in the park, since that we had eaten food and brought the refuse to put in their rubbish, as in like the containers at the Mole National Park has for keeping rubbish. And they ransacked the refuse bin, Salom, opened each and every pack of food that was put in there, inspecting it for bone, inspecting it for rice, or remnants of stew, or anything else that they could find. And they were eating that and fighting. If anyone got close to the other person, it became a fight, and they were fighting each other in that park today. And that was a beautiful sight to behold.
Wow.
But we have since moved from the Parliamentary National Park, and we are headed for Sunyani now.
I see. So I'm sure you get to Sunyani quite late. And so what happens there in Sunyani, and then where do you go where do you go tomorrow?
Well, so we're headed for Sunyani tonight. We have a dinner happening tonight. You do know that we are traveling this time for the first time with a bus load of band members of the Chinchin band.
Yes.
They have already gotten there ahead of us. They have set up by now with the advanced team. They are going to treat us to beautiful music tonight as we eat dinner at the Usbed Hotel.
Wow.
And this Chinchin band, the exciting and funny thing about this is that the last time we used them for a dinner party was at the Volta Serene Hotel in Ho. And so when we're having our own dinner and listening to our Chinchin band and dancing along, members of Parliament who had come to Ho on retreat heard about the music and gravitated towards where we were doing our party.
Wow.
And they joined to dance, not only dance, but also pick up the microphones. And some of them, Salom, were able to sing some of the songs to the amazement of all the patrons of the Caravan. It was a beautiful sight to behold. So tonight, imagine. I don't know which MP or which politician will be around or which group of stories will be at Sunyani, but I'm sure if they hear the Chinchin band play, they will definitely come and join us at the dancing square. You are invited virtually, though.
I thank you for that. So that'll be at Usbed, that'll be at Sunyani. What happens tomorrow, which will be day 5, which is the Independence Day itself?
Tomorrow morning, we are all going to be dressed in red, gold, and green, which is the colors of the nation, the national flag. And then we have black, which represents the Black Star. All caravanners will be dressed in that color. And we are going to head out of the Bono regional capital, Sunyani. We are headed down south now. Because we started the trip on the eastern corridor, climbed to the top. We are descending southwards, but also using the western side of the country or the right side of the country. We are descending. We are going to Kumasi, the second largest city in Ghana, and we are going to the Armed Forces Museum, which is a place that we really look forward to see. Last year when we came on the Caravan, we went to the Meshia Palace, went to look at the artifacts, the beautiful things they have in their museum. This time around, we are also going for another museum in Kumasi, but not the one we went to last year. And I'm upbeat and looking forward to all the stories that will be told through the artifacts that we see in this museum and the inscriptions that will be written there when we get there tomorrow. So that would be Kumasi tomorrow. Before retiring at the Noda Hotel, we'll be spending the night before heading westwards.
Wow, I see. That promises to be a lot of fun, I can imagine. Thanks so much, Omar Sanda, for speaking to us tonight on Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Wish you the very best and do enjoy yourself whilst we are here working.
Very, very okay.
So that's Omar Sanda Amadou, my colleague here at Citi FM, bringing us up to speed on the happenings on the Heritage Caravan. Now to the other matter, Parliament has been debating the President's State of the Nation address. address delivered last week. And they've since been debating that. We bring you excerpts of today's debate as part of our point blank segment. Do enjoy.
Interference culminating in most major oil companies exiting and stalling upstream activities. This is entirely wrong. Mr. Speaker, everybody knows that ever since the world started shifting towards the energy transition, the world has not been putting up the capital to finance investments in crude. And therefore, for the president to be alluding to excessive political interference in this area is just not correct and it's wrong. Mr. Speaker, the decline in upstream activities, the president continues. It's obvious to any person familiar with the Twin City of Sekeni Takrady. Just under a decade ago, the Twin City were the bustling epicenter of fabrication, logistics, service activities associated with the upstream oil and gas sector. Unfortunately, my recent visit reveals major shutdown facilities and many businesses that have packed and left. Mr. President knows exactly that even the OECD countries were not putting up the money to finance these companies. Mr. Speaker, hundreds of workers have been laid off and left unemployed. I wish to assure the people of Sekeni Takrady and indeed the whole Western region that we will breathe life back into the area. Mr. Speaker, as for Mr. President John Mahama, we know him very well. He was the one that promised that 10% of the oil revenues. That never materialized. He promised Hope City. It never materialized. So clearly, Mr. Speaker, we know for a fact that President John Mahama would never deliver on this promise. Mr. Speaker, the whole NDC infrastructure, under them, Ghana lost the Black Star Line. That created a lot of unemployment in the Western region. When we get to the issue of state capture in Western region, the GNTC that was operating in those days was captured by cronies and friends of the NDC. When you talk about the GMPC bakery at the Takrady Hebo, it was also taken over by cronies and friends of the NDC. If you talk about Bonsa Ties, it collapsed under the NDC. Mr. Speaker, WVLC, Western Veneer and Lumber Company, was actually taken over not by friends and cronies, by family and friends. That company used to have more than 4,000 workers. Mr. Speaker, that is the reason why our economy has been having problems in the Sekeni Takrady area. Mr. Speaker, WAMCO, West Africa Mills, also suffered the same fate under President John Mahama. It collapsed until Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo came to the scene and resuscitated it, and now it is working. So, Mr. Speaker, when you talk about things that the President and the NPP did for the people of Western region to sustain life and keep it afloat, there are so many of them. Mr. Speaker, you can talk about the Elibu Government Hospital that has been completed, the Swayim Government Hospital that has been completed, the Bugosu Government Hospital that has been completed, the Mpoho Government Hospital, the New Takrady, the Accident and Trauma Center at Apmenim, Bukro Government Hospital, Mpoho Regional Hospital, and our Agenda 111 Bukro was completed. Yes, ours has been completed and commissioned. It has been completed and commissioned. And we have already selected the workers. Unfortunately, we are being given instructions not to post them. For the past 2 months, we've been given instructions not to post them. Mr. Speaker, if we did this project 2 weeks to election, and after 2 months, you cannot blame anybody for the hospital not being opened. So, Mr. Speaker, we know what we are doing in the Western region. Mr. Speaker, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo gave Western region the largest naval base in this country at its level. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Honorable member, please begin to.
Oh, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this state of the nation is uninspiring, especially when it comes to jobs for the youth. Mr. Speaker, it promises greenhouse agricultural jobs of 30,000, and Nkukwan Ketenkete of 55,000, and then implementable businesses for young people of 2,000. Mr. Speaker, when you put up this figure, out of a population of 2 million unemployed youth, clearly these numbers just are uninspiring. And it's not good and very disappointing for the young people of this country. So they should up their game so that the young people of this country and
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Let's now listen to Honorable Haji Aladi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity for me to add my voice to the message on the state of the nation given by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We thank God, thank Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity for power to change and for us, change hands, and for us to be seated here today comfortably and peacefully and debating. I wish to first of all thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for giving us the opportunity of having a woman as the Vice President. Women in Ghana and the whole world cannot thank him so much. It's a dream come true for most of us. We couldn't have thought of it coming sooner than this. We hope and pray that many others would follow suit, not only in Ghana, but other countries. Mr. Speaker, in the presentation of the State of the Nation, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama stated that the country was at slippery slopes. In fact, it was actually very, very slopey and slippery. And we thank God
I like that
Ghanaians decided to ensure that they will not let Ghana go down the drain. We are seated and arguing and talking about the issue that Ghana was on good footing before the just passed administration left office. When have we so soon forgotten? When plantain was carried and brought to the ministries for sale, when have we so soon forgotten? I simply asked myself at that time. I didn't have the power to say anything or to do anything except to talk. But I just wondered, even those in Accra, and for that matter, even around just the outskirts of Accra, let's take even Kaswa, did we expect them to come to the ministry to come and buy plantain because it was cheaper there, or because the minister had brought it there? It happened. It happened because of food shortage. People couldn't get food on the table, sometimes not even for one meal, not to talk of 2 or 3. Today we are being told that all was rosy before the MPP left government. We will not forget so soon. We wouldn't forget. Don't let us also forget, when we talk about electrification, the simple thing I always remember, and unfortunately my brother, whom I will be referring to, is not here. We say Dumsok, and that day people wanted to use it to say it was not His Excellency John Dramani Mahama that brought Dumsok to an end. Have we so soon forgotten about the lies-offs that came to the extent that our brother, when he was compelled to come out and say something to the nation, said that this was not called Dumso, but it was called what? Dumsiesie. Today we are saying that we never had issues. Look, we are for the people, all of us, whether you are NDC or MPP. We are for the people, and we must talk it as it is. So we shouldn't forget about these things. We were in this country, we were in this chamber, when for God's sake, the army was able to come into Parliament and to come into this chamber, as if Ghana was at war with another country. We legislators who are here, legislators, we have no problem except pen, paper, writing and thinking and talking. We had the army coming in here. And yet, when we took power, 7th January, and we gathered here, nobody saw even an army officer, one single army officer around the premises of Parliament. Not to talk of them coming inside our chamber. Up until now, we haven't heard anything about that incident. Peaceful. Very, very, very peaceful. All went well. Look at the election of the Speaker and the 2 deputies. Very beautiful. Because that is the best way to go. That is the best way to go. We got the numbers because Ghanaians trust and believe that we can deliver. And inshallah, we shall deliver. It was in this same chamber what we have been crying against, what we have been talking against. It occurred in this chamber during the voting of the Speaker, snatching of ballot papers and chewing them, which we normally cry against. We say, no, we don't want this to happen, we don't want that to happen. It happened here. We, the same people, the leaders, were here and it happened. I wouldn't want to mention the person's name because he is not here, but most of us here were around. What do we say about that? School feeding. It basically came to a stop. I won't talk of the secondary schools. It was a problem. They will not even come out, they dare not, the headmasters dare not come out to say it. Because if they did, they will be transferred. Today, everyone in Ghana has the peace of mind to talk and to say it as it is. Our school children immediately started, the students immediately started, there was food carried in no time. To them, food stuff was carried to those schools. And they had food on their tables. They ate food, beautiful, very nice, very nutritious, with eggs. What are we looking for in governance more than what is happening currently? His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is out here to work and to ensure that the work is being done. And he has already started it. Immediately, the president of the US, Donald Trump, came out with the issue of US aid not coming again. He gave an instruction outright. He didn't wait. He instructed the Minister for Finance to make sure that he makes room to cater for that aspect. While we were at that, then the deportation came. Deportation of our people. And before we could say Jack, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Ablakwa, was able to give us the numbers there and told us he had already done the groundwork for them to be catered for so that they can come back home safely. This is how we want it.
Honorable Adi, begin to descend.
Why?
I'm saying begin to descend for landing.
I have 10 minutes, Mr. Speaker. So I've not.
You are left with 1 minute. That's why I'm asking
Mr.
you.
Speaker, while we were at that, we had cholera outbreak. We saw all of us, including the Minister of Health, run round, send health personnel, ensure there is medication at every place that was affected. And thanks to the Almighty Allah, I believe that that problem is more or less being solved. Sure. Then we had the issue of meningitis. And because the president knows the predicament of most of our people, especially in the villages, he asked that all places that were affected, treatment should be given free. Education should be given properly so that people will be able to take care of themselves. This is what we are looking for.
You heard excerpts of the debate today in Parliament. The Honorable Ladi concluding that bit for us. This is how we conclude today's edition of the program. Came to you live from our studios here in Accra. Show produced by Nana Kobna Wilson, Samiri Afe, Beverly London, Manuel Ayama, and Juliana Odame. Technical assistance being provided by Emmanuel Latte. Earlier, you heard Akosi Ochre. My name is Selom Adonu. Have a good evening.
Citi News. Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.